Hello, and welcome to the section of your academic literacy module titled Vocabulary Building. Vocabulary building is not simply knowing what words mean, but also understanding them in context. This section of the module looks at how unknown words may be understood by considering the context in which they are placed. You will learn the value of using a dictionary and thesaurus as vocabulary building tools, and understand subject-specific terminology as changing the context within which words are generically used. Academic vocabulary building requires a student to not only understand the dictionary definition of a word, but to also be aware of the context in which the word is expressed. This will enable a more comprehensive understanding of how the authors of academic sources have purposefully chosen certain words to include in their argument, whether it is to emotively promote their view to a reader, which is generally not academic practice, or logically appeal to the reader through the incorporation of more scientific jargon that makes it seem as though their argument is more valid. In the introduction, I spoke of the Academic Literacy Toolkit and mentioned the need to invest in a dictionary and thesaurus. These two sources provide the most denotative definitions of words, related synonyms, and antonyms. In addition to these, the textbooks for the various modules you are studying will grow your vocabulary towards industry-specific jargon, and so expose you to contextual cues that will direct your future use of such words. When looking at the meaning of a word, as stated earlier, the dictionary will provide you with a denotative meaning to a word. However, certain words are also possessed of a connotative or symbolic value. This is usually determined through what we associate it to culturally, socially, or even personally. For example, the word rose is denotatively defined by the Merriam-Webster Dictionary as any of a genus Rosa of the family Rosaceae, of usually prickly shrubs with pinnate leaves and showy flowers having 5 petals in the wild state, but being often double or partly double under cultivation. Connotatively, however, the rose as a flower has been symbolically associated with love, friendship, and even hope. Words do not typically exist in isolation from each other. In addition to understanding the denotative and connotative value of a word, its position in relation to other words in sentences, paragraphs, and essays must be considered. Because academia relies on establishing a high level of formality within written documents, words that are typically conversational tend not to be used. Words are also enhanced through the addition of prefixes and suffixes. Often the inclusion of these either amplifies or diminishes the original meaning of the word. Let's consider an example. Consider the word develop. Typically, this verb means to come into existence or to grow and mature. To enhance the meaning through adding a prefix results in the words underdeveloped, meaning not to grow or mature at the expected rate or to achieve the expected outcome, or overdeveloped, meaning to exceed the expected rate of growth or expected outcome of maturation process. The addition of a suffix meant to develop transforms the verb into a noun denoting the state of growth and maturation rather than the process thereof. Apart from the denotative and connotative meanings of words, their positioning in relation to other words, and how meaning is changed through the addition of prefixes and suffixes, you need to be aware that the use of a word needs to make sense in context. In school, maths gatherings for the purpose of communicating information to a group was called an assembly. Within the business context, the word meeting replaces the word assembly and is more appropriate to use. These are the points to consider when navigating through this section of your guide. There is additional information available in this regard in your prescribed textbook.